Most people think they know the story of King Midas. A greedy king touches things and they turn to gold, then he learns a lesson and everything goes back to normal. But the real power of the myth is not the gold. It is the moment he realizes that his wish worked perfectly, and that perfection is exactly what makes it a nightmare. Because Midas does not get too much. He gets precisely what he asked for, and he discovers that desire can be a trap when it is phrased as a rule instead of a need. This is the story of King Midas, the golden touch, and the second punishment people forget, the ears of a donkey. In Greek tradition, Midas is a king of Phrygia, in Anatolia, a land of rich valleys and long trade routes. Myths often place him near wealth and power, but also near a familiar human weakness, the idea that more will finally make you safe. In some stories he is admired, in others he is mocked, but he is always remembered as a man who wanted his life to be untouchable. And that desire is why his myth begins with hospitality, not with greed. Because the gods, in these stories, do not punish people for wanting comfort. They punish people for making a single desire their entire personality and then demanding the universe obey it. One day, Midas' men find an old, intoxicated wanderer in the countryside. In many tellings, this is Silenus, a companion and tutor of Dionysus, the god of wine, ecstasy, and wild release. Silenus is not presented as impressive. He is messy, vulnerable, and easy to underestimate, which is important because Midas chooses to treat him well anyway. Midas welcomes the stranger, offers food and rest, and treats him like a guest rather than a problem. After several days, Midas returns Silenus to Dionysus. And in the logic of myth, this is the moment where the story gives Midas a gift, one that will reveal what he values more than wisdom. Dionysus is grateful, and he offers Midas a reward, one wish. It is a dangerous kind of generosity, because it sounds like freedom, but it is really a test. A wish is a mirror. It does not force a person to become greedy, it simply reveals what was already pulling their mind. Midas does not ask for health, or peace, or a strong kingdom, or a long life. He asks for a rule. He asks that whatever he touches should become gold. Not one chest of treasure. Not one mountain of coins. Everything his hands meet, forever. At first, it feels like victory. Midas reaches down and touches a stone, and it hardens into gold. He brushes a branch and it becomes a shining ornament. He laughs, then he runs his hands across his home like a man trying to prove to himself that the world has finally agreed to his desire. In that early moment, the myth is almost seductive. Gold looks like control. Gold looks like security. Gold looks like a life that cannot betray you. They move toward the cost, and the cost arrives the first time Midas tries to live like a human being instead of a collector. Midas sits to eat, and his bread becomes gold the moment he picks it up. He lifts a cup of water, and the liquid hardens into metal before he can drink. The wish is doing exactly what it promised, and that is the horror. The same hand that gathers wealth is also the hand that brings food to the mouth. In some tellings, the tragedy sharpens even further. Someone he loves reaches for him, and his touch becomes a curse instead of affection. Whether it is a daughter, a loved one, or simply the idea of intimacy itself, the message is the same. A life built on turning everything into profit will eventually try to profit from the things that should never be reduced to objects. Now Midas understands. His power is not a blessing, it is starvation disguised as success. He has made the world untouchable, and he has made himself a danger to the people he wants to hold close. So he does the only honest thing he has done in the entire story. He admits he was wrong. Midas begs Dionysus to take the gift back. And Dionysus, who can be cruel but is not always unjust, gives him a way out, one that feels like a ritual cleansing, as if greed itself must be washed off the skin. Dionysus tells Midas to go to a river and bathe. In many versions, it is the river Pactolus. Midas steps into the water, and as he washes, the power drains out of him and into the current. The river carries away what his hands have been trying to force, and the myth leaves a final poetic detail: the sands of that river become rich with gold. It is a neat ending, but it is not the full story. Because Midas has learned one lesson about greed, but he has not learned humility. He can admit that gold cannot be eaten, but he still believes his tastes and judgments should matter more than everyone else's. So the myth returns him to a second punishment, one that targets pride instead of hunger. In another famous tale, there is a music contest. The god Apollo, master of the lyre, is compared against Pan, the wild god of shepherds and panpipes. A mountain spirit named Tmolus judges, and he declares Apollo the clear winner. But Midas disagrees. Midas insists Pan's music is better, as if his personal taste should outrank the judgment of a god. Apollo does not kill him for this. Instead, he marks him. He gives Midas the ears of a donkey, a public symbol of foolishness, as if to say, if you insist on hearing badly, then let your ears show it. The moral of Midas is straightforward and sharp. A wish that turns everything into one value will eventually destroy the things that give life value. Greed is not only wanting more, it is wanting one thing so much that you forget what else you need to stay human. And the donkey ears add the second warning. Even after you survive the consequences of desire, pride can still make you blind. The myth does not say, never want wealth. It says, do not let one desire, or one opinion, become the law of your life. If you want the next myth with a clear moral, tell me which story to cover next.